empowering yourself with courage. Do you know there's a fear epidemic going along in society? Can you feel it? Sort of what keeps people gripped to the news is fear. So as a part of our bookmark, we are now reading the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Also, how many of you are familiar with Mark Nepo? He's got a book called Finding Inner Courage. Had I saw this book last year when I created the bookmark, I definitely would recommend it. The book describes a path to inner bravery, the quiet power of standing by yourself, with yourself, for yourself, in the depths of your own heart. Finding the courage to face your inner self with all its gifts and demons is the first step to transform the world. So both of these books have been an inspiration for the lesson today. One of our mottos is Center for Spiritual Living, inspiring, empowering, and transforming. So what does empowering mean? To make stronger or more confident. To give means to achieve something. So let me ask you to think for a minute. How do you empower yourself? How do you empower yourself? All right? Anybody have some answers? Yes, Donna. Meditation. Meditation empowers you. Yes, Louise.
Because my vision has become questionable.
Yes?
I ask for help when I need it.
You ask for help when you need it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes?
I just show up.
You just show up, which says a little something about how you drive yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. Did music provide any empowerment? Does prayer invite any empowerment? Yes. Positivity. So looking at your thoughts and moving your thoughts to an empowering one. So in the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, it discusses blame and fear as taking away your power. Now, I want you to think about that energy-wise. You know, when you're watching the news, it certainly can stir adrenaline, can stir curiosity. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It can certainly cause our amygdala to start firing off, giving us a little push. And both fear as well as blame, it takes away your power. It's sort of a step back to whatever's going on. The blame being it's somebody out there, or the fear being I need to protect myself. And both of these beliefs limit you. Blame and fear limit you. In order to see beyond those beliefs, what might you try? We believe in a higher power that is within you, as the song Hero spoke about. The antidote to fear is faith. Building faith, strengthening faith, practicing faith. And when you commit to a higher power within, to spend time developing a relationship with yourself, as Mariah Carey said, connecting with your heart. Who are you really? What makes you sing? What makes you happy? What makes you joyful? When you commit to creating the relationship to know that truth within yourself, then you can empower yourself to see things differently. The Gnostic Gospels They were found in 1945 in a cave and then translated. And one of the quotes from the Gnostic Gospels is, "If you bring out what is inside you will save you. If you fail to bring out what is deep inside you, what is inside you will destroy you." Why might that be? If you are not fully expressing your soul and who you are, then you're holding your gifts, you're holding your love, you're holding yourself in. So I'll say it one more time. If you bring out what is inside you, what is inside you will save you. If you fail to bring out what is deep inside you, what is inside you will destroy you. It is a journey, is it not? Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway talks about 3 levels of fear, and very good to sort of practice looking at the fears in our life. The first level is a surface fear or a surface story about your fear. I'm afraid to make new friends, go out in public, do a new experience, get a new relationship, have a new, choose something different than what we've chosen before. I'm afraid to. What might that be for you? What is holding you back? Level number 2 is a deeper dive where the ego plays a role. So you know your story, but what really is it about that story that causes you fear? Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's shame. Maybe it's loss of a certain image you hold of yourself or that you know others have of you. Maybe the fear of the unknown. Maybe the ego does not want to lose control. So taking what is our fear, I'm afraid to, and taking a look a little bit deeper about, and what would it mean if something did happen? Would you feel rejected, shamed? What is it that you would be afraid of? And level 3 gets to the bottom of most people's fear. If XYZ were to happen, I can't handle it. Which goes back to faith. Perhaps we don't want to face a loss. Perhaps we don't want to choose a different option. Because why? We're comfortable in our discomfort. Why would that be? Oh, because I know my discomfort. And this is where courage over comfort comes in. Basically being able to say to yourself, I know that there is a higher power within me. I know my truth. I know that the universe has my back. We must exercise our faith in order to make ourselves stronger. And then if you know you could handle it, then you know you can make a different choice. Sounds so easy, right? I realize the words are easier to say than the action that it takes to find the courage and to empower yourself, to know your truth, to step out, to step forward. And if you know you could handle anything, then what would you possibly fear? So tell me how we develop courage in the face of our fear. How do we diminish the fear to develop more trust in our ability to handle whatever comes our way? Positive affirmations. Bingo. So say with me, I will handle it. I handle it. I am empowered. Finding the words that come from your heart, deep inside you, that know your truth. To know you can more than survive, in the Mariah Carey song, but you can thrive. Because you find that space within you that is the strength, the joy, the love. And that energy will help to dissipate the fear. Now, I have a favorite saying I realized as I was putting all of this together. My partner Sue will say, well, are you ready? And I have a saying that says, well, I'm going down the slide. Whee! You know, there's times we prepare for certain things in our life. We may get a little nervous. You know you're going to do something. You're going to do something different. You're going to have a new experience. Maybe there's a little bit there. And I have to remind myself, I can mentally prepare all I want, but once I'm at the top of the slide, I'm going down that slide, and then it becomes sort of not so much in my head, but more like, okay, flow with what is in the here and now. When I'm going down the slide, adjusting as I need to adjust. So if you hear me say, I'm going down the slide, you know what's going on. You know, Nike had the right idea in mind when Nike said, just do it. Just do it. They should have had a song created for that. I noticed that Reverend Christine, who's speaking at the end of June, actually caught this also. We have a Science of Mind magazine. And the Science of Mind magazine for June must have known our theme for the year. Because there are 30 daily readings and affirmations that focus on holy boldness, Batman. Holy boldness. So if you would like some support, if you would like some different affirmations to try on, to try out, highly recommend these are in the bookstore, and you will get 30 days worth. And one of the main articles about holy boldness is that it opens the door to create something new. Now, maybe you've had a conversation with yourself before or not, but when you create, it brings about a different kind of energy, sort of like going down the slide. Here I go. And instead of saying, I'm afraid to, how about starting with the courage that says, what do I want to create? Leaning in. Basically, pulling up this creative aspect of you that lives in everybody. I had somebody who worked for me once before who says, oh, I'm not creative, I'm an accountant. And I said, well, you do have to get creative about demonstrating that money, don't you? We are all problem solvers. When I say creative, you don't necessarily have to claim you're an artist, but we're creative in the stories we tell ourselves, are we not? Creativity is an attribute of God, which means it's an attribute of you. And so can we turn the corner on what we're afraid of by saying, what do I want to create? Lean in instead of leaning out. And so also in the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, we basically stepped us through how we don't take responsibility. It's a lot easier to complain about what is than to decide what it is we need to create with it. A little more energy, a little more thought, a little more attention to decide what you want to create and to take some responsibility in whatever the situation is. For instance, we may make excuses rather than empower ourselves with new choices. New choices mean A, becoming aware that we're complaining. B, that there must be something else you want. There's some contrast there. And then in determining what you want, then taking action or finding courage. And I'm just now realizing I'm talking with my mask on. So when we're blaming, they have a favorite thing saying, there's 3 more fingers pointing back at you. Become aware of what we're complaining about. Determine what it is we do want. Take responsibility. Choose a new action to change. The other thing that happens is we have a chatterbox in our head. I love the Untethered Soul book when it talked about you would never choose the roommate that's in your head. The book was profound about that. It was like, it's true, your brain repeats some of the stories, goes on and on and on. And the thing about not being conscious is we believe everything it says. But we don't have to believe what it says. So if you don't follow your own chatterbox, you actually in the book it talked about what's the payoff. So here's your chatterbox going off on a story. There's some kind of payoff about that story. Maybe you don't have to get courageous. Maybe you don't have to face a difficult issue. Maybe you don't have to. What is the payoff? Stop and figure that out. Example, complaining about a partner. Do you want them or not? Make the choice. Seeing your choices, courage to change. And I know that that's a lot easier said in any particular situation than done. And one of the favorite sayings going around the university right now is, we can do hard things. Find support, as Louise talked about. Find someone who can support you in making that change. And so we have practitioners here at the center who will sit with you to help you know your fuller truth. And if you're in a situation where you just want to know a greater truth, you want to create something different, you want to choose something different, but you need somebody to support you in that, we're here to support you in that. Now, I also know for those that have had trauma in their life, you may need support also, because what happens is when we're in fearful situations, it makes a marker in our brain. And why is that? Because in the past, in the history of humanity, it was a way to make sure that we didn't repeat the same mistakes, or that we didn't get into particular situations again that may put us in jeopardy. But what I want you to know is fear causes your brain and your character to shrink. Empower yourself with courage. I didn't find the article, but I was reading something that said that fear is literally contagious, but so is courage. When you take the courage, people will see that. And that energy of you taking that courage will I think about a rock in a pond. It's a clear pond. You put a rock and then it ripples out. You being able to take the courage to create and to choose something differently causes that to ripple out. There's a book by a woman named Michelle Aguilar called Becoming Fearless, and it says, learning to become fearless will touch everyone around you. And best of all, you'll find it's a gift that keeps on giving. So what we want to do is move ourselves into being courageous, courage over comfort. And how we want to do that is empower ourselves. Empower ourselves with courage. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, They actually created a book of his writings in 1962. There's a book called Living Without Fear. And he says, humans will deliver themselves from sickness and trouble in the exact portion to the discovery of themselves and their true relationship with the whole. So I want to challenge you the next time you hold back or discover that you're fearful of something, to determine what do you need to do to empower yourself to choose courage over comfort. Namaste.